Welcome down to episode 186 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia. And the guy on your other screen or in your other ear who's listening to the podcast, it's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Brendan. How are you? We're back for another one.
We're back. It's good to be back.
It is nice to be back.
It's one of those things where I when we do a pod, I miss it. I know I miss doing this. I enjoy it. But I've also kind of enjoyed sort of stepping back a bit and not doing as many this year. I think this has been a good move, Cameron.
I think so too. I'm the same. Like everywhere, I'm like, I'll have a chat to Brendan. It'd be fun. This would be a fun story for the pod or whatnot. And then I get home, I think I've got no bloody time to do a podcast at the moment. We'll do it next week. And then you ring me up next week and go, I got no bloody time for a podcast. I'll do it the week after. And here we are where we've lined it up on a Sunday night. What the hell is that all about?
Well, Sunday night as we record this, and this will go out on Monday. We're going to, why not mix it up? Variety is the spice of life, Cameron.
This is going to screw people like Mel Haddon and Jenny Cooper who they work on a schedule and then they're going to get these things. They're going to lose their shit over this.
We do have a couple of people that have been on workshops with us that don't mind a schedule. So, so apologies in advance. But as I say, variety is the spice of life. I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. But
as long as they take their tablets on the right day, they'll be fine. Just to keep those tablets popped. Yeah,
that is right. Cam, straight off the top, happy birthday. I know
thank you.
Birthday last week. So congratulations on reaching the ripe old age that you did. You don't look
Yes, thank you. I got told today I looked like I was 57, not 47. Who needs enemies when you got friends like mine?
Sure, they're looking at a picture of me. God damn.
I think you're not as, look how grey I'm going here. You're I think I'm ahead in the grey stakes.
I looked at a picture of myself from 2019 the other day. 2019, that doesn't seem like that long ago, right?
No.
This bad boy was brown.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway.
Would you ever dye your beard? Would you ever do that?
No, never. And nor my hair, nor will I try and have hair plugs or transplants. No, I'm going to age the way nature intended me to.
I'd like to do a community shout out actually. Over the last few weeks I've noticed an abundance of really bad, shitty mustaches. Just that's it. And they're all these young guys about 20 to 35, all walking around the same, like they've missed a bit in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a bit like that 6'7" thing. That's dead. That's done and dusted. So it's the little little surfer boy mo, or whatever you want to call it. It looks stupid. Shave the shit off and move on.
I think it's fair to say when any trend with young people appears on our podcast, it's dead.
Yeah. If it takes that long to get to us, it should be dead.
It's dead now.
It's every Australian bloke I've seen, tradie, wherever, it doesn't matter, walking the street with this little bloody mo on there. And it's just like, come on, you look ridiculous.
I have a 17-year-old son that's guilty of that as well.
Has he got one?
Oh, yeah. He's, look, but, he's my son, so he carries it well. He chip off the old block. So
he would pull it off, though. But some of them just look like they shouldn't be walking the streets around schools, really.
Just so viewers know that we are actually going to talk photography in a second. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about Cam's big trip to Japan, which he's just come back from, hence the hat. I'm also going to talk about a little quirk with social media that I haven't so much discovered, but I found out a couple of weeks ago. And I also want to have a very quick chat about the future of AI in photography. Yes, we're going to go back over that old trope again, but something interesting caught my attention during the week, and we'll talk about that as well. So I think we might kick off, though. Now, last episode, normally what I do when we go very heavy on the visuals is apologize to people who are listening, because they then have to flick over to our YouTube channel. So if you're listening, when we put up photos of the week, we try and do the 1,000 words, but we don't have the time. So it's always better if you can, at some point, pop over to the YouTubes, check out the channel, subscribe if you want. I mean, it's totally up to you, but you can.
We've totally given up on that, haven't we? We don't care if you subscribe or not.
No. We're all about just organic growth here on the Down South Photo Show. We don't need to plug things down people's necks. It's fine. Subscribe if you want. Don't subscribe. It's totally fine. Anyway, Cam's going to show six of his Japanese adventure photos.
Japanese ones. Japanese.
Mate, it's Sunday night. You think I was the one that had 3 pints and a shot today?
Yeah. What did you have today, Brendan? Nothing?
No, nothing. Just I'm on the H2O at the moment, which is I know.
Well, you're in charge. You're in charge of the household there now. Well, figuratively speaking, you are. But
I have my two lovely ladies in my life have just hit Africa, if you don't mind. So they're in Marrakesh at the moment, and just got there now as we speak, basically, and already off on some adventure out into the desert. So awesome. But what we will start with is photos of the week, and Cam, I'm going to start with your.
Actually, you pick one. You just pick one.
Well, you know what I've done. I haven't actually even added your photos.
Here we go. Let me fill it in, folks. Yeah. So, hey, speaking of, while you're talking about social media, about a little quirk that popped up for something we're going to talk about later in the episode. I came across a little quirk today that you can't mention the word meth in any comments you put on Facebook, or you get them deleted and you get banned from a few things. They put restrictions on you.
Really?
Now, my daughter, Autumn, who's 13 going on 23, today before I came down here, put what's called a hair mask on. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of what a hair mask is.
I don't
it's
know.
It's like a moisturizing treatment for your hair. Anyway, we had a typical dad-daughter conversation upstairs where I was out of touch and had no idea what I was talking about. So I came down. I thought I'm going to ask the internet world, see what they think about this hair mask. And a mate of mine wrote back saying, "Oh, all I can see, mate, is they're quite expensive, more expensive than meth." And I wrote back something similar, blah blah blah, about meth. And Facebook gave me a strike.
Really?
Now, are we going to get a strike now for me mentioning meth more than once here?
Probably. Oh, well, let's find out.
Don't do it, kids. It's not worth it. Go get your hair mask instead.
No, we'll definitely find out what YouTube has to say about it. That's for sure. But we'll find out.
One day, surely not. You can swear and do everything on YouTube. So,
well, it's very unregulated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty loose.
I mean, I know there's a line somewhere. I don't know, and the line seems to be moving further back every day because we're getting older and we're fuddy duddies. Yes. But it certainly looks like that. Cam, can I throw up your photo of the week, please?
You can.
Voila.
That looks like a photo of mine. That's cool. I like that photo. Where'd you take that one?
That is very cool. Now I'm going to hazard a guess, and I'm going to say that might be Mount Fuji.
Correct. Now, we did a 12-day tour in Japan, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we go along. But we were in this region of Mount Fuji for around about 3 or 4 days, and that's what it looked like the entire time we were there. Now, that's a rarity because apparently it's only visible about 60 to 80 days a year. And I started putting up photos as you do, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're so lucky you're seeing Mount Fuji." Like, yeah, it was out yesterday. It's going to be out tomorrow. Like, oh my God, I went there for 3 weeks skiing and didn't see a mountain at all. And so we hit the jackpot. This is the first couple of days of the tour. This is actually the first sunset of the tour we did. And we went down to the shores. I can't remember the name of the lake, but wherever Mount Fuji was, where we stayed, it was down there. And we had this beautiful sunset that night, and a few of us went down to the shore of the lake, and then one of the guys in the group, I think it might have been Max, who said, "Oh, there's a really cool tree and a bit of a view back up the track." So we all went back up and had a look at this and got that sort of hangover tree framing up Mount Fuji with the nice grasses in the foreground. So beautiful spot. And again, getting really lucky that first sort of sunset to get a cracking shot. One of the best shots of the trip I got, really. So it was one of the first
I love the light there. I mean, the boughs of the tree are awesome, but the fact that they're side lit by golden light is really cool. The texture and the grasses in the foreground and the way you're framed. Yeah. Would it be in the top 5 most famous mountains in the world? It has to be.
Well, I tell you what, it's an impressive bloody mountain. The couple of days before that, so I did the tour with Luke O'Brien, who's the photographer down here, and his beautiful wife, Maduri. And we met them in Tokyo and went up one of the lookouts on one of the buildings. And we're up on the building. It was a clear day in Tokyo. It was cold, but clear. And Luke's like, "Oh, so out there you can see there's Mount Fuji." I'm like, I'm looking down. I can see like this range of mountains. I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And then all of a sudden out the back of it, and we're talking 200 or 300 kilometers away, was this big pointy mountain of Mount Fuji. And at first, I could not believe how big it was. It was towering over these other mountain ranges. And I didn't the research I didn't do was this is Japan's tallest mountain, which I didn't realize that. But it's a big, imposing mountain, and the closer you get, obviously the bigger it gets. And but but it's got so many beautiful angles and viewpoints around these lakes that we went to. So yeah, really lucky. And again, like I said, we got pretty lucky with the mountain being out and the weather being nice. That light that you're talking about on the tree only really lasted. There's like a little gap in a valley sort of out to the right there. It only lasted about probably 15 minutes before it sort of died off. So I think most people in the group got, I think a couple of them might have stayed down on the shoreline there, but most of us got that shot. So it was good. It was actually located at Fuji Kakawakiko. Can't even say it properly. But
I don't know. I would battle so hard with some of the place names over there.
Yes.
A couple of questions with that notice, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Camera and lens for that?
This was the SL3 Leica with a 14 to 24 2.8 on it. It's probably shot pretty wide to get that trunk of the tree in. Mm-hmm. I think I used something like about f11 or f16. I think I focused on the grass or one of those branches hanging down just to sort of get that depth of field point of view or the focus point in the right place. And really, actually, I had to edit this photo today to send it to a gallery that I'm exhibiting in Sydney as one of my images. And it's really not much. It's a little bit of contrast. That's about it. Like it's really nice off the file. So again, it's just one of those classic ones where the conditions are right, you get the exposure right, and away you go. So
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks great. Look, just let's not bury the lead here. What do you mean exhibiting in Sydney? What's going on there?
So there's a gallery, framing gallery up in Sydney called Three Edge Framing. There's three lovely girls who used to be customers of mine who on our trip, they decided that they wanted to open a gallery and framing place of their own. And they've been doing a little exhibit every year for the last few years. And they invited me to come along again and accepted my images. So we've got, it goes on in June. I think it's June 11 to 14, I think it is the whole opening day. Three Edge Framing in Sydney. It's from pretty much the 12th to the 14th or so, maybe it's 12th to 16th actually.
Well, let's link them below, give them a shout out, and we'll also
let's do that.
Details of that for people who are in Sydney or New South Wales and want to go and check that out. That'll be something cool for you to go and have a look at.
Yeah, and it's not just me. There's probably a good 20 or so people presenting in this gallery. So I'm hoping to get up there for opening night, which should be cool. But we'll send a link below, and you can check out what's going to happen in the middle of this year.
Definitely. I've got a photo of the week for you, which will be this one. This is our beach here in Ocean Grove. I've been playing a lot with the Nikon Z5 II and the 180 to 600 lens that Adam Edwards highly recommended I get my hands on, and he was completely right because he normally is. And I just wanted to go. I've been doing this a lot lately, particularly in summer because, sunset's 8:30, sort of 8:45 sort of thing. So it's great. I can, run the shop for a day and then get out and get some photos. And quite often at this time of year, we get sort of haze coming off the ocean, and when you shoot straight, and let's break all the rules and shoot straight into the sun. Yeah. It was just one of those things where I just sort of positioned myself, and there was a bit of surf going on. So there was people down there enjoying the evening. You can see I left them all in. I just thought this needed people. I didn't want to take the people out of this shot. I could have easily cloned them out, I guess, but they were there. The guy on the right with the white T-shirt, I really hated because it was so white, but I still thought, you know what, I think I need to leave this here.
Well, that fills in a bit of that space on the right side there.
Well, I guess so, yeah. And then, just taking the odd shot here or there, and then all of a sudden this flock of seagulls just sort of started wheeling around, and I thought, thank you. So they sort of filled in that sky a bit with a bit of interest. So
you didn't just Photoshop them in like most people do with birds these days?
No. This is actually there. I mean, if I would have done a better job if I'd have Photoshopped them. Like, for example, the bird right at the very top, you can see there's a bird there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I framed this photo during the week because it got a lot of traction on the Face Ache, and people were liking it, and thought I'll chuck one in a frame and put on the wall at the shop. Yeah. That you've got to be so careful because that bird almost touches the mat board right at the top of the frame. Right. And it's like it's something you don't sort of think about when you're framing. And I didn't even think of it, and just chucked it in the frame, turned it around, and, oh, look at that bird. It's all I can see now. So, so, you know, maybe I should have got rid of it, but it's there. And
well, that raises a good question though. Like when, you know, when is it fine to remove things? Like this photo, you could definitely remove the one at the top of the frame, but there's also the one touching the right of the frame there as well.
Yeah.
Like if you get rid of them, does that take away the authenticity of that photo, or are you cheating in a way to make it more, you know, better for framing? Or like, it's a funny one.
The only person that has to answer to that is me. And I'm comfortable with removing. I mean, I don't like, you know, bins and telephone lines and that sort of stuff. I mean, really, now that I look at it, that big ugly aerial sticking out of the observation tower there is pretty bloody ugly, but you know, it's there. It's part of ocean growth. And if I took that out, someone would call me out for it, because
that's right. That's the problem with being local as well, and selling local stuff is
that's right.
People are going to go, oh, I know that place, and then some dickhead's going to come and go, hang on, mate, you took the aerial out. That's not a real photo, and then you have to explain. And I put a male voice on because most likely it's going to be some idiot male who comes in and says that. So it's a funny one. Like I a couple of shots I did in Japan, similar sort of thing. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just take that bit out, or, you know, remove that little bit of, you know, the thing that's not right or catching my eye. But a lot of times you don't, because you want to try and keep it as authentic as you can. But I would have given you a license to get rid of a couple of birds there, I reckon.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, and there's a couple that are sort of in odd spots, but you know, as I say, and I took maybe, I think, 3 frames in pretty quick succession, and I did quickly look over them for what I thought gave the best mix of where the birds were, and this one tended to work the best. The others, they're sort of more to the right, and this is as the flock sort of came across, so it sort of worked best there. But there's one thing that I really don't like about this photo, and there's not enough water in it. There's just a glimpse of the water of the ocean off to the left. But it was low tide. I mean, there's nothing I can do. That's
what about if you cropped the water out? Yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one.
I think I like that the water's there. But I think I need more. I'd like it to be halfway up the beach rather than just a little glimpse of there. But you know,
what's with Fred the seagull on his own on the beach, who just decided that he was too good to take off with the rest of them?
Yeah, that's right. He's just hanging out down there, isn't he? He's like, nah, I'm good. Maybe you already got a chip, and the other ones are fighting over one offering. I think that's probably what's going on there. But it's been great to take the camera down to the beach or just along. I'm very, very lucky that we've got this fantastic sort of foreshore area from where I am. You know, I can go east to Point Lonsdale or west to Barwon Heads, and it's like a 15-kilometre stretch of beach where I can find stuff to sort of scratch my photography itch. And again, particularly at this time of year, it's just that you get a hot day and everything glows like this. It's lovely. It's a really, really good time of year for shooting.
It's got summer written all over it.
It does. Cam, Japan, how long were you in Japan for?
In total, I was there for close to 3 weeks. So we did a couple of right. Yeah, it was a bit. We arrived a couple of days early into Tokyo just to sort of familiarize ourselves, and then I think we had 3 and a bit days afterwards as well. So we sort of had about 5 days either way of the 12-day tour. So we had a 12-day tour. We had 6 wonderful people, which was awesome. We had Dorothy, Angela, Max, Brad, Joe, and one other, and Robin, who were there. So, and then we had
super impressed with that. Have you got that written down somewhere, or you just ran it off?
You know what? I panicked for a bit. I'm like, shit, did I write that down here? But no, I didn't. No, so we had those guys, and then we had Luke O'Brien and Midori O'Brien. Midori's Japanese, so she obviously grew up there and knows the culture and language very, very well. And then Cheryl came along as well. Cheryl came along as a bit of a holiday / helping out. She always wanted to go to Japan, and Darren, her partner, messaged me secretly and said, what are the chances of sneaking her in your suitcase? I said, well, she's small enough. She might fit, but maybe not. Maybe bring her own suitcase. But she came along, and that all worked really well. Like, it was a really good trip. We had some beautiful weather to start with. We got snow where we needed snow. We got good weather where we needed good weather. We saw the snow monkeys having a bath. That was really cool. And then we had a minus 19 degrees Celsius day on the third last day, I think it was, of the trip. That was a aborted sunrise because it was blizzarding, and took myself about 30 minutes to dig the car out of the car park. It was pretty cool.
I bet you were pretty happy just to climb back into bed for that one.
Yeah, well, we got up and we were going to do it, and then I opened the window and I went, "Oh, we're not going anywhere." But how good is it out there? Like, I'd like to go somewhere, but it's probably not safe to do so. And then we went back to bed for a bit, and then we all got up and had some brekkie, and then we went to go check the cars out, and I'm like, "Oh," and then and in the driveway of all the hotels, they got like little shovels and brushes to, but it's all powder snow. It's like that really fine talcum powder stuff. So like it was really good fun, but it was cold. And then it's one of those places. So this is at the Urabondi Lakes, which is up sort of middle of sort of mainland Japan. And we were driving along, and it would have been about 12 or 14 foot of snow walls all along the roads on the way out. Like it's big snow. But we had a great time. Like I said, great people. Got heaps of cool photos and lots of laughs. That was the first tour that Luke and I have ever done together. We've known each other for quite a while, but I don't think he was quite ready for the Cam style of workshops where taking the piss out of customers, hanging shit on customers, hanging shit on myself. That's just that normal way that we do things, Brendan. I think he was a bit taken back the first couple of days, and then after that he got into the groove.
Yeah.
And we had a good time. But one thing that really surprised me, and I've told a lot of people this already, but like I did Japanese at high school from year 7 through to year 9 or something like that, year 10. And I actually remembered so much more than I ever thought I did. And even Midori said, she goes, your pronunciation's like 8 out of 10, apart from that town I just butchered before. And I could sort of start picking up some words in conversations as what was going on. So
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was good. But to be honest, beautiful place, Japan. The highlight of the trip is beyond doubt the people. The people there are just phenomenal. You got a country of 100 odd million people. There is no rubbish anywhere. There's no rubbish bins to put rubbish in. Everyone takes it home with them. It's all orderly. Everyone's polite. Everyone's super grateful. We went to a restaurant one night at the same place where Mount Fuji was, and the owners waved us out the door. It was like saying goodbye to relatives. They came out and waved us off because we had a big group and it was a bit of a quieter time for them. So they were just so appreciative that we came in. But if you haven't been to Japan, folks, get there. It's a phenomenal place. The dollar versus yen at the moment is phenomenal. If you want camera gear, I can give you an update on how much camera gear I bought when I was over there. There's camera stores everywhere.
Well, this was going to be my next question was about
right, yeah.
So, because you sent me you posted it to Facey, but you also sent me privately a few images of camera stores, and you showed me a hoodie before, the Kodak hoodie, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So they're as good as everyone says they are, the camera stores over there?
They are, but it depends on what you're looking for, I guess. If you're just going over there to look for new stuff, the range is the same. There's anything different with the range, but the pricing was much better. Poor Cheryl had probably one of her biggest dilemmas I've ever seen her deal with. And Cheryl, she's pretty sensible and pretty patient and pretty calculated with what she does. So the big white Olympus lens that I had that I sold.
Yeah.
So that retails for close to 11,000 Australian dollars.
Yes.
In Japan, they had it on special. Take the tax off, bring it home to Australia. It was going to be close to the 6,500 Australian.
It would have been tempting.
It was tempting, apart from the fact that they didn't have stock for 6 months.
Well, then that's silly.
Yeah. So I didn't understand but we had a look around and had a good look at some different camera shops. But price-wise, everything was about 25%, 30% cheaper there with the exchange rate and the tax that you don't pay.
Yep.
But I really went over there to have a look at the second-hand camera shops. You and I are a sucker for old cameras. And there is a region of Tokyo called Shinjuku, which, behind you. Shinjuku is another huge area. It has one of the craziest train stations. We couldn't get out of it. It took us 4 attempts to get out of the thing. And if you Google Shinjuku, SHINJUKU station on Instagram or Facebook, there is a plethora of stupid memes of people trying to get out of this station. Well, we became one of those memes. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, there's a section there where it's all secondhand camera gear, and I picked up some really good bargains and spent probably twice as much as I wanted to. But yeah, it was good. Like I said, if you're looking for secondhand sort of bargain equipment, still new, but if you're not willing to look buying new, then the secondhand shops offered a lot. So
Yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah, and I'm keen. I'm keen just to see it, like just go and see. I'm ready to go to Japan. It's been on my radar for years, and all I've done is had a layover there on a flight back from Europe one time at Narita Airport. That's as far as I got. So
let's do it before one of the tours next year or the year after. Come over for a week beforehand. We'll go around for a week.
It's a very good idea. Actually, that is a good idea. I might take you up on that. We'll talk. My people will talk to your people.
Do you want me to go through what I bought?
Yes, and I'm sure the viewers and listeners would love to know as well.
I don't have them on me. They're all over the back there. But so the first thing I came across, I was looking for a 35mm lens for my little Leicas, and I walked into a shop, and there's one on the shelf, 35mm f1.4. They retail brand new for about 6,000, 7,000 Australian, which is ridiculous. I was never going to pay anywhere like that. So the first day I went in, I got served by this younger lady, and I'm like, looks good, how to check, held up to the light, all the things you do, and check the aperture rings, all fine. So I said, okay, I'll purchase this, and it was going to be about 2,500 Australian, which I thought, that's a bloody bargain. But on the little tags, they're all written in Japanese. They have condition reports on the tags. So when I went to check out, ladies, she said, oh, this is cloudy. It's got cloudy. I'm like, oh, that's not good. I said, what do you mean cloudy? And translation wasn't great, and I'm trying to use Google Translator. And anyway, I couldn't see anything wrong with it, but I thought, you know what, I'll leave it. And then we came back the next day with Midori, who speaks fluent Japanese. And we got this older guy who worked there. And she said in Japanese, what's written on this card? And he said, oh, a couple of dust spots and cloudy. And he looked at it with his torch. He goes, no cloudy, a little bit of dust. And then I asked Midori to ask, I said, does he think it's going to affect flare and stuff like that? And he goes, brand new, sitting on shelf, dusty. I'm like, right. So I got the torch out and had another look, and it was fine. So I walked out of there with an absolute bargain. This thing is mint, no flare, no issues. You can see a little bit of dust in it, but nothing that is a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
So I was off to a good start. Well, this is cool. Started using that. And then a couple of days later, I walked into another secondhand shop, and the Olympus OM3 Ti, my favorite film camera of all time that I've got one of, I walked in just by chance. I'm like, oh, OM1, OM2, OM3 Ti. That's rare. So I looked at that and I went, oh, that's only like 1,500 Australian. That's bloody dirt cheap. So I get out of the cabinet, and whenever you buy something over there, it's like a business deal. You go and sit down at a desk, and they open up a cloth, and they put everything on the cloth, and it's like real. They have masks on and everything like that. It's like going to the doctors. So I look at this one and I'm like, this is mint. I did a few tests of the shutter speed, all that kind of stuff. And that worked out to be about 1,600 Australian dollars. I went, that's bloody good. They still sell for 2.5 or more. So as I'm checking out, the lady goes, oh, you're very quick. Did you see it online? We just put it online this morning. I'm like, just happened to walk in off the street. She goes, oh, wow. Very good. She goes, great price. She says, we don't see them in this condition much at all. She said, very good pickup. And I went, you betcha. So I went. So then I walked out that door and I went, well, I can't have a body of a camera without a lens. I better go buy a 50mm 1.2. So I went to another shop over the other side where I knew they had a few more Zuiko Olympus lenses, and picked up a 50mm 1.2 for about $400, mint clean, perfect. So that's good. And then just before we were about to leave, we went to another place called Ginzo, which is on the other side of Tokyo, to another camera shop. And I walked in with my Kodak hoodie on, and I was looking for a 100mm f2, which is quite a rare Olympus Zuiko lens. Beautiful lens again. And they had one there which said it was like condition C. So I thought, oh, maybe it's a bit bumped up. So I have a look at this thing. It's mint. It's got a couple of dust spots. That's it. So their conditioning in there in the secondhand stores is like A is like brand new, B is practically brand new, and C is maybe used a couple of times. So as I'm checking out, this older guy at the back who's cleaning the cameras, there's always that one guy at the back cleaning the cameras, gray hair, gets up and he looks at me and goes, Kodak. I'm like, yeah, Kodak, haha. He goes, where'd you buy? I'm like, there's a Kodak shop on the other side of Tokyo. And you know how the Japanese, they over accentuate some of their excitement. He's like, oh, Kodak. And he just started getting really animated and pulled his friend over like, look, Kodak. So I showed him on the map where this Kodak shop was, because it's a retro Kodak shop that sells hats and bags, a whole lot. he was wetting his pants with excitement. He took a note of where it was, like he was going to go buy the whole shop the way he was acting. So I picked up this 100mm f2 for like $500 Australian, which is another bargain. And as I was about to walk out, they had a 300mm f4.5 Zuiko lens as well for the film cameras, $70 brand new. And I went, what? It's brand new. It's never been used. I went, right, perfect. So I walked out with a fair bit of stuff in a few days.
You did?
And I spent a few thousand, but I reckon I could get that back and more. So
yeah, it's an investment, right?
That's what Lisa's been told.
That's what we keep telling everyone. That's what they all are.
Yes.
If you've got more cameras, you win.
That's right. But the main thing was, like, you got to know what you're looking for as well. So I went over with a bit of a list of what I'd like to find, and I found everything. I was really, really lucky, and they're all in good condition. The way they do things over there is super professional, and you know, the condition reporting is really accurate, if not under accurate, of how good they were. And yeah, with the exchange rate and things like that. And then the funny thing was, they all kept saying, "Oh, you're tax-free. You got to show this on the way out through the airport." I'm like, "That's cool." So I had it all on me as I walked out the airport. Did anyone check me? Nope. Cool. Just walked straight out. So yeah. So yeah, I bought a bit of shit that I didn't need, but I'm really happy with what I bought.
No, as I say, it's an investment, and you know, for guys like us who we're into our photography, man. Like, you know, there's guys that are into cars and they buy cars. There's guys that are into bikes and they buy bikes. There's guys that, you know, we're into photography. We buy cameras.
Yeah. So, so if you are going to Tokyo, the Shinjuku region is pretty much where there'd be a good dozen camera shops in 3 blocks of each other, secondhand and new. But if you do look around, there's a few and they're all down these little, like up these little stairways that don't look like anything. They're on the 3rd level of this tiny little apartment, and you walk up there and it's like a doctor's studio. There's like camera gear as far as you can see. So I saw heaps of Pentax K1000s. There was heaps of them beautiful ones. There was lots of, there's a lot, I spoke to you the other day about it. There's lots of Kodak point and shoot cameras, like, you know, sort of novelty cameras over there that I haven't seen out here. But it has, for camera gear, if you're looking for stuff, and we did that. One of the last day in Tokyo with our group was, does anyone want to go look at camera gear and buy stuff? And we'd help you. So Joe ended up buying a 12 to 100mm f4 Olympus lens for her OM. And Angela bought a 50mm 1.4 Sony for her Sony. And Brad almost bought an 85mm 1.2 Canon lens. I almost had him there. Nice. And then there was also another massive telephoto lens. It was 14,000 Australian, but sells for 20,000 out here. He almost went for that as well. But so yeah, that was my shopping.
Awesome. Yeah, that's brilliant, man. All right, that's cool. I mean, what we'll do as well in a sec is we'll put up some of your photos from the trip as well. But I think it's really cool that you got to. Well, it sounds like you got a fair dose of the culture as well, which is great. And all I keep hearing about is the respect that you are shown, that people show each other in Japan. It's really cool to hear that firsthand as well, and makes me want to go there even more. So let's have a look at a couple of your shots.
Sure.
Any particular order, or you like me just to random?
Whatever you put up there. I was just going to say while you're doing this. All right. Well, before I talk about this little quick side note just about the culture and stuff like that. So we went and picked up the hire cars from where we got the bullet train to, and when we were lining up, there's these 2 Japanese people behind us arguing, wanted to cut the line in front of the other one. And just to give you an idea, like in Australia, that'd be, F you, mate, piss off, mate, bang, bang, push, shove, it'd be over nowhere. These guys were arguing, and I wouldn't say they were screaming, but you could tell they weren't happy with each other. And the look on everyone else's face in the waiting room of the hire car, who were Japanese, was utter embarrassment. Like, it was like, you are embarrassing us. You're embarrassing our country. You're embarrassing yourselves. And it was just amazing to see collectively they don't tolerate disrespect in any way, shape, or form. And to have that many people live in a country where everything's so well organized, not like, I'm sure they have their issues, but from the outset, it looks like everything gets on well, everything works well, people are respectful, they're super generous, they're super great with their time. If you don't speak Japanese, as if you try, they love it, you know, and the same with them. Like I was saying, you speak English, and they go, oh, a little, and then they'd speak better English than some of the people we deal with. So, it was really amazing. So to get to Japan is the message there. So this is a selfie from one of the cold mornings at the snow.
Yeah, it looks like you've been there a while.
Yeah, you think my face is red above the water. You should see underneath the water. There's not much going on there. This was one of the most disappointing places I thought we went to in Japan, was the snow monkeys.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason being was not because the monkeys were great, very cute, doing their thing. It was the abundance of cockheads with long lenses being selfish with positioning and pushing in front of people and blocking people's shots. And there was absolutely no etiquette at all when it came to that. There was a couple of rangers there sort of moving people around and doing stuff. But overall, and I'm sad to say, it was a lot of Americans who were doing that. They were just like, we're Americans and we deserve to be in front of everyone. So it took us a while to sort of maneuver ourselves around this pool and the surrounds to get these shots. And then the other thing that was quite tricky, there was a lot of steam coming off the water, and everyone there was struggling with focus on these monkeys, because you'd get a bit of focus and the steam would go in front and you'd lose focus again and things like that. So it was a challenging location to shoot for environmental reasons, with the fog and the steam, but also just with people there. And I stood there in one place. I lined up in one place in one of these spots where I got this shot from for about 20 minutes, waiting for these two guys in front of me to get out the way. Now, one guy in front of me was about 6'4", and he was from England, and he had an iPad about so big, and he was taking photos on his iPad. He could have done that from behind 3 or 4 people and still got the same shots. And there was another guy, I think, who was from England next to him, who was shooting a random amount of shots, and then he'd just sit there scrolling through the screen, checking which ones he likes, taking the whole spot up. So I'm not usually quiet when it comes to that. So I may have said something to one of these guys who tried to tell me that he'd come a long way to see these monkeys. And he tried to tell me that he'd probably come further than I had, and he was from England. And I said, I reckon I might have come further, maybe. How about you give someone else a go? I'm not sure what other adjectives I used around that, but he got the message pretty quickly and wasn't happy. But it was just silly like that. So that was the disappointing part of the trip, where you walk 2 kilometers in the snow to get to these monkeys, and people just can't play nicely. Like, our group was being super respectful. Like, it was one of the prouder moments of the trip, where everyone was moving around, and they'd take a couple of shots and they'd move back and give someone else a go, and they'd make their way again. And that's how it should be. But there was some people there who couldn't have cared less about what anyone else wanted to do, and sort of took the shine off it a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit disappointing, isn't it? I mean, it's also, you've just got to play nicely when there's loads of people around. You just have to. Like, anyway, that's a bit annoying, but let's talk more about this photo. Did you end up having to use manual focus, or?
In the end, I did, yes. So I did switch into manual focus to try, and I had the focus peaking on the viewfinder there so I could see. But they're not fast moving animals. Some of them were darting around, but once they're in the bath, they're pretty relaxed, like I guess we are. So that was fine. I tried to use, and a few others tried to use like eye tracking and things like that, but it was getting really confused with that fog and the steam that was there. So it was manual focus. This is shot with a 70 to 200 mil lens on the SL3. I think I might have cropped it a bit as well, just to get in there. But they're very cool, and they just sit there and do their thing. So there was a couple of people that in our group that are a little bit disappointed that they throw grain out to the animals. They sort of feed them a little bit. So there was a little bit of discussion about what's ethical and what's nature and all that kind of stuff going on. But apart from what I just mentioned previously, they're very cool and definitely worth going to see, but just be prepared to sort of fight some crowds and probably deal with a few idiots with bigger lenses than what you have, and away you go. But yeah, they're very cool. There was all different sort of shaped faces that they had. Some of them had like sunburn or something on their face. You could sort of see their skin was peeling a bit. But you couldn't help think that here we all are jostling for position and getting the shits with each other and putting lenses up. You can't help think that they're looking at us going, geez, these people, this animal's strange. What are they doing? Like, we're going to see them do something that's quite natural, and here we are acting like a bunch of monkeys, I guess.
Monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
But
Right, let's chuck up another one, shall we? This interests me. This piqued my interest when you sent this to me.
oh yes,
Now I would equate this in North America that they're out there fishing. Is that right? Is that a fishing?
yes, they are. They're ice fishing on the lake. Yeah. So this is up at Lake after to Urubonda Lakes. There's about 5 or 6 different big lakes up there. We went out. We didn't actually plan to do this. This is something that just happened on our trip around there. So we went out for the day to drive around this lake that was there, and it was all frozen. This is when it was sort of -10. And we came around a couple of corners and we thought, oh, wow, that's cool. There's a whole heap of orange tents on the lake. They're obviously doing some fishing or doing something like that. So we were able to get to a point where we could get down to where they were. And we hadn't planned on walking on frozen lakes, nor had we discussed safety and health about walking on frozen lakes. But when we saw a whole heap of kids that were the kids of the guys fishing, walking out, and they had ski patrol. What are those ski things? Ski bikes?
Like what are they called? What are they called? Yeah, a skidoo or a
skidoo. Yes, something like that. Yeah. We thought, okay, it must be okay. So we went out and had a look. There would have been over this whole lake. There would have been hundreds of these tents, and inside they're all off the snow, off the ice. They've got a little drill they drill through, and funnily enough, this is our ignorance. We went and had a look around, and Brad, who wasn't backwards and coming forward, and a lot of times he was quite funny. He just decided to open the door on one of these tents and see how things were going. So this little Japanese guy just went, oh, what's going on? And again, because they're so polite, he was happy to talk to us, and we asked him if he was catching fish. But they drill a hole, then what they do is they stick a little camera in the hole and have a look around and see what they can see and know what to put in and how deep to go. And then the funny thing was, after we had a chat to him, he didn't speak English, but he understood one word that we said, and that was sake. And he held up he had a can of sake that he was drinking. So very Australian, like go fishing with a can in your hand.
You've got to keep yourself warm out on that ice somehow, mate.
Totally. But it was very cool, like all these tents scattered around. So we went out a couple of times and took shots of these. But again, it's something I've never done before, is walk on a frozen lake. So this is Lake Chuzinzi. And it's big. It's a big lake. Like it's not a little one. And we could see through the hole where they drilled, it would have probably been, I don't know, what's that? Maybe 20 inches thick. So we weren't going to fall through. But it was very cool just to see what they got up to. And then when we got back into the car park, we ran into some other guys who'd been fishing, and they had been on, one guy especially been on the sake. He was blotto, but very funny. And we asked them how big the fish were, and they're like tiny. They're like tiny little sardine looking things.
All right.
They'd only be, half the size of a pencil. So I don't know. We didn't get to the point as to what they use them for, or if it's a delicacy, or if that's some sort of sport to catch that. We couldn't figure that out. But
it's purely an excuse to sit out on the ice and drink sake. Come on, man.
I think that's what it was. It's just a pure reason to get away from the missus. Like either stay home with the missus in the warm house, or go sit on a frozen lake and drink sake.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. So, but it was very cool. Like I said, that was not on the itinerary of what we were going to do, and we just sort of made a quick detour. And it was one of the highlights again, like having to walk out on a frozen lake's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, well, I would imagine, and particularly because it was your first tour over there. I mean, that would have happened a fair bit, where you weren't planning to see what you saw, and yet you made the most of it when you saw it. So that that's what I love about the workshops and tours that we do is, there'll be some times when you just sort of, let's just go this way instead, and then, oh, hang on a minute, all of a sudden there's a whole scene in front of you that you've just got to photograph.
Yes, that's right. And that's the thing, you just got to make it work. So if you don't do it, then, you're going to miss out on that opportunity. So actually it wasn't it's actually Lake Urubonda. Sorry, my mistake. So the day we got there, it was quite interesting as well, because Luke's been there plenty of times, but he hasn't been to a lot of these locations in the winter. So he usually does like an autumn trip there. And when we first got up to where this region, he said to me on the side, he goes, Cam, I'm really struggling here because this looks nothing like it was 4 months ago. And we drove past car parks because they were 12 foot under snow. You couldn't see them. So on the second day that we were there, I said to Luke, look, take a day off with your brain. I said, let me take over today and let's just see what we see through my eyes, because I've never been here before. So we did a lap of this lake on the road, and we got some great shots, because I was just like, that's cool, let's pull over here. And there was a huge road bridge that was under snow on the other side. We saw these guys. There was a Tory gate that was in the lake frozen. So, it was a good way to sort of relieve a bit of the pressure on Luke, who'd been there before, to sort of say, hey, let's just go with it. And the customers are like, that was great. We had a great day. It was completely nothing that was planned. We just went for a drive. We got caught in a blizzard, went into the local 7-Eleven blizzard. Like, it was really cool. And we got to walk on a frozen lake. So pretty cool.
Not every day you can do that.
No.
This is a very famous photographic opportunity in Japan.
It is. And this was not part of our tour. So this is the 1,000 Torii gates in just out of Kyoto. So Cheryl and I had 3 or 4 days afterwards. So we took a bullet train, just a day trip to Kyoto. So 2 hours on a bullet train took us close to 600 kilometers away from Tokyo, which is phenomenal. And then we got to Kyoto and we got on the train. This temple is literally at a train station. You get off in there and you're right there, along with 35,000 other people who are right there. It was a very busy spot. But again, this is a good lesson in patience. This is taken with the 35mm lens. I bought the nice 35mm lens. We waited on this sort of avenue of the Torii gates, and there was people going everywhere, but every now and then you get 10, 15 seconds of nothing. So, and people clicked onto that. If you just stood to the side with your camera up, people go, oh, you're going to take a photo. I'll walk through and get out the way, and you can take your photo, and then the people behind. And on the way up the gates, it was Instagram central. It was, I don't know. I don't recall seeing so many fake lips and asses in my life walking up this bit of the Torii gates. Everyone was made of plastic. There was one guy dressed as a samurai with a sword walking up there doing photos. There was people doing all types of stuff up here, and that's great. They're all having fun. I did mention to Cheryl that I thought this may have been the central place in Japan for where they could probably put a mental health hospital, because it seemed like everyone that was there could have done with some treatment, including myself by that stage. But on the way back down the Torii gates, like I said, you get a bit of a break. And patience was the name of the game here. Just wait, let people go through, take a few shots, let people go through, take a few shots. The tricky thing with this is the light on those back Torii gates so I had to expose a little bit under just so I didn't blow out all the writing on those poles. And the little lamps are there. They were pretty handy as well. So, but very cool place, but very busy. Again, I don't like crowds as much as you probably don't like crowds either, but it's just one of those places where it just got a bit too much too quick for me. But
and sometimes you just got to, and you got the shot, so all good.
Yeah. I got probably 6 shots there I was happy with, but we would have been there, I reckon, no more than an hour, and we're in and out. Cheryl was the same. She's like, I don't want to do this. So, yeah. And then
again.
Yeah. So again, we had just magical conditions. This is another frozen lake, and it had all little broken ice blocks on it. So whether or not people have been throwing blocks of ice on there, or whether or not it's just generated itself, I'm not too sure. But we went there, and just behind here was a beautiful little cafe which had a couple of Japanese owners, which we stopped in for what was going to be a 15-minute coffee, turned out to be an hour and a half lunch. So that worked perfectly, because we walked out the door and then the light was starting to drop off, and we got this beautiful sunset to finish the day. But yeah, again, Mount Fuji, this is from the first shot that you showed earlier, this is sort of about another 90 degrees around the other side of Fuji. So it really is just that big dome looking thing. But again, we got some nice purples. This is probably on that 35mm lens, I think, potentially, from memory. Again, pretty much out of camera, just a little bit of contrast. And I think I may have played around with the color temperature a little bit just to make it look a tad bluer. But there's another shot I did get with the land mass in front and the little hill in front of Mount Fuji that were all lit up golden in the lead up to that. But this one I like the color of, so.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like that. And then last but not least, we've got this one.
Yes, so This is one of those special temple shrines that's there around. This is around the other side of Fuji now. We're probably 180 degrees around from that last shot. We went there the night before this. There's 380 stairs to walk up, or you can walk up a zigzag road to get up to the top of this shrine. This is a very popular place as well, but this one worked. This one worked how normal popular places work. That if you got there early or stayed there late, everyone went, and you sort of got most of the place to yourself. We went up the night before, and it was Mount Fuji clouded out for about 30 minutes just before sunset. All this cloud just came in and screwed us. So we went up the next morning and went and got this shot. But again, beautiful place, really cool shot, place to shoot from. We met a couple of Aussies up there. There was another guy up there, I think his name was Jacob, who was from Melbourne, who's going to sign up for one of my workshops. He's going to come down. He wants to do some film photography in Tassie. Perfect. So everyone was doing the hard sale for me. I could go and take photos, and I came back and they'd sold a trip for me. So that was good.
How good's that?
Yeah. But yeah, very cool. There's these shrines everywhere, and some are hiding, some are pretty popular, but very cool nonetheless.
So with all, great photos, by the way, awesome, lovely job. When all said and done, would you like to see Japan at a different time of year, or did you like the fact that you were there in winter?
I like the idea of winter, but I do like the idea of going at different times of the year. Having said that, based on my monkey pool and the Torii Gates experience with so many people, I think I'd lose my shit pretty quickly if I was there at a really busy time.
So winter is the quietest time, yeah?
Winter seems to be a quieter time. Wow. And like some of the places, like the monkeys were busy, the Torii Gates were busy, like the big towns were still busy, but a lot of places where we went were all pretty quiet. Like we went to a place called Matsumoto, which had another one of these lucky for us type of things where it had this castle, like this 14th century castle, 16th century castle in the middle of town. The whole town's been built around it. And we went there one day and had a look around. There was a handful of people around. It was okay. And then we went back the next night and they had this incredible laser show on the side of the castle.
Oh, right.
And we're like, bonus. And there was about 20 people there, 30 people there watching. We're like, had the place to ourselves. So that was really good. And then we went to Nikko, which is another place which has got a World Heritage temple there, which the temple was incredible. Just so much detail on all the artwork and the architecture there. And that was busy-ish, but still wasn't crazy busy. So winter does seem to be a lesser time to go there. But when we were there, just where that last photo was taken, they just announced as we were there that they were cancelling this year's Cherry Blossom Festival because of too much tourism and bad behaviour. So they've cancelled the whole festival for that that region there for the cherry blossoms. So, look, I'm sure if you went there in autumn or spring, like anywhere, if you know the place well enough, you'd probably find some parts that are not as busy. But yeah, I think at some stage, I think I will try and do a different time of year there. But winter seemed to work really nicely, and it was just a different look. And again, like the scenery was mind blowing. Like we didn't have the color of autumn or the vibrance of the cherry blossoms and things like that. There was some plum blossoms starting to come out as we left, but yeah, so I'd like to, but I did say to the group at some stage, I probably would like to come back in autumn on my own and just drive around for a few weeks and just try and find some spots that weren't overpopulated. But yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of, here we are as we record, getting close to the end of February. Can you believe we're swinging back into autumn very, very soon already? Like it's so amazing how fast it goes. And I was only saying to one of my staff the other day that I'm dead keen to, I think I'm going to try get up to Mount Macedon this year. I've never been there in autumn, and I know it's very popular there on the weekends, but apparently during the week it's not so bad. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to chuck that on the agenda.
You've got, is it the Memorial Avenue there? I think it's called.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, it's straight up the main drag. But on the way up there, you've also got places like Trentham, Daylesford. Yes. Like I can sort of do a loop through up there. And I was thinking about, I was like, yeah, I'd like to get my teeth in a bit more autumn colour. So luckily, you're in the same position. You've got autumn colours everywhere in around Hobart even. So it's great.
Yeah. Autumn's a great time, but it is very popular for people out with their cameras.
Yes.
I used to do a day workshop in Dalesford. And I think you gave me some tips on where to go Dalesford that time. The
Lake
coffee van.
Jubilee.
Yeah, the coffee van did Lake Jubilee. And on one of those workshops, I decided to come back through Macedon on the way home, and there was traffic jams everywhere. So again, during the week you might be good, but yeah, different places, so obviously attract crowds, but sometimes it's nice just to find that little spot on your own. And you know, it's hard these days to get that little spot on your own, isn't it? Where you feel like you're the only one there, but yeah, it's hard. That's for sure.
It is really tricky. I just wanted to as well just bring up a little interesting, as I mentioned, a quirk with social media. More so, I suppose, the social side of things. So I was out. It was about 3 weeks ago now, and I was out with a walk with the family, and there's a section of beach near Queenscliff where you're not allowed to have dogs. So I just let the family walk along my wife and my son walk along the beach, and I took Buddy up along the track where he's supposed to be, which was great. And I stumbled on this. Now this is it's a borrow box.
Yeah.
Where it's toys for kids to use on the beach. There's boogie boards and there's balls in there, and there's little things you can make sandcastles with and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I literally it was a hot day too, and I had my dog. He was trying to go, and I thought, I'll just get the phone out and it just interested me. It was like a human interest thing. And I was like, so I took a snap of it, and then got to the coffee shop, and I thought, that was a pretty cool photo. I'll post it to the Ocean Grove Camera and Photo Facebook page, and just put it on there. And it said, and the comment I put was, "How good's a borrow box?" And then just put, Queenscliff and my name. Took the photo. Now you look at the photo; it looks like it's a holiday snap. It's not even anything special. This photo has now had well in excess of 1,000 likes, 140 comments, I think 50, 60 shares or something like that. It's been the most successful photo I've shared in the last 6 months.
That's a quick.
And I put up this photo, a couple of days later. And it did all right. It got like 250, 300, like my normal sort of numbers.
Yeah.
But that goddamn photo, that's the one that got the traction. I just thought it was an interesting point. And I think what it came down to was the human element to it. And the comments were 95% of them, as you always get. There's 5% of people who are morons and whatever. That's social media for you. But the 95% of it, 95% of them were, oh yeah, we love it. It's great. People, put your toys in and stuff. And there was other people, this should be everywhere, all this. And so it was really, really good like that. But I just found from a photographic point of view, it's fine. It's a photo of the borrow box. That's basically it. But from the traction that it got and attracted another 150 followers to the page, all that sort of stuff. I was just like, hang on a minute, what? Have I been doing this wrong the whole time?
Well, I think that's the thing. Like I've had many a conversation about social media and engagement and stuff like that over the years, and there is no magic bullet. And you're right. Sometimes you put something up where you go, oh, that's a happy snap, cool, and people just lose their shit over it. It's like, oh my god,
that's
incredible. But I think you're right. Like I'm now trying to always engage people into, like you said, bringing a story with it or something that people want to comment on, as if to say, oh yeah, that's cool, we use the borrow box or whatever it might be. But sometimes when you put up what you think is one of your better photos, which is purely photographic sort of speaking, people go, oh, it's lovely, move on. But when it's a bit more, a bit more touching of them personally, or they've seen this box before, or they've gone down those stairs and they see it, people sort of resonate to that a bit more. It's a bit like, when we go away, Cheryl does a lot of window shots, and I think she gets more comments on the window shots than a lot of other ones, because people go,
it's funny, isn't it?
That's a quirky window. I've never seen that. Oh, I've seen that window before. So I don't know. Like, is that the way, if you want to build engagement, is it more about trying to reach people on a personal level, or?
This is my point, is that, Ocean Grove Camera and Photo is my business. It's in my best interest to advertise it and promote the business. And that's what social media has been fantastic for. I mean, I'm going into my 14th year of that business. And I remember, about 3 months before I started it in 2013, it had, I started the page, and by the time I'd opened, I already had like 500 people following my page. And
Right.
I'm almost certain that without social media, that thing wouldn't have got off the ground.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot more old school advertising, newspapers, and maybe TV, radio, that sort of stuff.
Trading post.
Yeah, that's right. I've never done a radio ad. I've never done a TV ad. It's all been social media, whether that be Facebook has been the one that's been predominant for me because I'm old. I keep getting told by my daughter that I must do more on Instagram, and she's right. We all know she's right, but I'll get there. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just interesting because, what I want is eyes on the page, obviously, but it's all about engagement. And I think that's what made this photo resonate. It was that engagement. People loved it. They're like, oh, that's so cool, and off it went. So it's given me a little bit of a point of difference for when I'm posting now, as to what I actually put up in terms of engagement. I'm still going to post photos because that's what, it's what we do. That's what I love doing. And if they only get 80 likes, well, that's fine too. But, to now in the back of my mind, work around, doing photos with a little bit of human interest and human engagement is something I don't normally do. Yeah. So I guess it sort of opened another avenue of my photography as well, which is got to be a good thing, right?
Well, I think so. Something I've done with my business, and it's mainly that Cheryl does it, she's part of the team, is I've got that behind the scenes Instagram page where she does a great job of it. She just puts up behind the scenes shots. So like this could be a behind the scenes shot for you where you've gone down to do something else. And, this is the day in the life of Brendan when he's not in the shop type of thing. I think people resonate more with that personal touch to you as a individual shop owner, family man, retailer, as maybe more opposed to, oh, that's a pretty shot of Ocean Grove or wherever you may have been. And that's the same with this behind the scenes thing we do. Like I can put up as many pretty photos that I think that I like, but a lot of the conversation and feedback we're getting is, the shot of us, there was a shot of Luke and I and Maduri behind the scenes. Cheryl did a series of 4 or 5 shots of us, and we're just there talking about some Japanese temple from behind. And that got lots of likes and lots of nice comments where people are getting a bit saturated or a bit tired of all the pretty images. And instead of knowing how the photographer does his shot, maybe they just want to know what makes us click a bit more and what we see as we're just doing our own thing without our cameras. So maybe you need to incorporate, maybe a couple of those shots a week, just the quirky things you see around Ocean Grove. Like there's a lot of coffee shops and cafes and things that do that well, where it's not all about the coffee and the cake. It's about, what's going on in the street outside or what they did on the weekend. And, I think maybe more pictures of Buddy, that would help. He'll get up there, but
he's very popular, Bud. People like Buddy the dog.
Like you're there to sell photos and develop photos and film and sell cameras and all that kind of stuff. But maybe people are just as interested in what makes you click as a local person, as well as what you do as a business. So
definitely, which I just found it really fascinating that, as I say, over the last 6 months, this is that photo. But what the point is, look at it. I mean, it's not a great photo, Cam. Like but it's what's in the photo that's more important. So
how many times do we say that, you and I, though? All these people crap on about cameras and megapixels and this and that. I've never sold a picture where someone's asked me the exposure details or the composition skills I use. That people don't care. People just relate to a moment that relates to them.
Yep. Does it look good? Does it appeal? Yes. Great. Fine.
Have I been there before?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Which kind of leads me to the last topic for the evening. So our friends over on the Camera Life were chatting the other day. Now, look, I must confess, I sort of come in and out of their podcast. Their podcasts are quite long, and that's them. That's what they do. I understand that. But quite often they come out on a Monday morning when I'm at work, so I'm sort of zoning in and out, and it's on in the background. It's like the radio, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, this one particular point that they made was AI. And how it's starting to get, we all know about AI editing and things like Gemini, Nano Banana. Gemini. Their photo engine is called Nano Banana. I know, right?
I don't even know what Gemini is.
Which is Google Chrome's AI assistant.
Is that like
So if you-
ChatGPT for Google?
ChatGPT, exactly the same, but
Right.
they call it Gemini, and their photo editing is called Nano Banana because why wouldn't you call it that, Cam? Duh. I mean,
Some
so anyway,
20-year-old making millions on that.
what they actually were talking about was the next generation of phones. It's rumored phone cameras will have AI built into them before you push the button. So, in other words, when you put your image, so you're doing a landscape photo, for example, because that's what we shoot. When you put your image up on the screen, it will adjust the image live before your very eyes, correct exposure, highlight a certain subject, background bokeh. It'll do everything for you, and it'll model it off its image bank of images that it scours the internet for. So it happens in real time. So basically, your snow monkey photo, for example, if you hold your phone up towards the snow monkeys, it's going to scour the internet, find the absolute perfect exposure settings, the image that looks the best of a snow monkey, and set your camera to that. It'll straighten your horizon automatically. It'll remove a tree, or it'll ask you do you want that bin in the background there, all of that sort of stuff, which of course will naturally filter into cameras. And it'll happen, when, for example, DJI or Apple finally come out with these SLRs, they've been rumoring for a few years now that they're actually going to have a facility on board, which just blows my mind. Why would you want to do that and just destroy all the creativity of photography? And B, who's going to take that up? Like it's like, it's like we talk ad nauseum about editing after the fact and using AI to edit and all that sort of stuff. And we always talk about that line of, is it moral? Is it immoral to do that? Who you're trying to please, but this takes it to the next level, and that is before you even push the button, it's going to do it in camera. So I was just sort of interested to get your thoughts on that, but my thoughts on it are just, why on earth would you?
I made a t-shirt that said AI can go get.
Yes.
And I still stick to that. Like if we are getting to the point where, you know what, I'm not annoyed that AI is doing that. I am furious that people would take that on.
Yeah.
Like, get stuffed. If you are going to do that and just have a camera do everything for you, piss off. I don't want to.
That's not photography anymore, is it?
No, that's that. If you're going to sit there and claim that that's some sort of photography skill, go bugger off, because it's not.
It'll even apparently. So let's say you're at the Summer Apostles and you point your camera, it'll actually flash up on screen, move 3 feet to your left, and this rock will come in, and the composition will be better. Like, it'll tell you live on your screen how to get the perfect photo of that spot.
You know what you need to do then? If this is coming out, you need to go stockpile film. Because film will go through the roof. Because people won't want to do AI if every camera is going to be just making a photo for you, so you can go, here's my photo of the Summer Apostles. I'll shoot nothing but film.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to be a function that you have access to and you can turn off. But I know now that and you know what it's going to lead to? It's going to lead to every photo looking the same. I mean, because isn't there, in theory, if all phones start doing it, isn't there only one perfect way to take that photo? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm going to download my Brendan Waits AI app, so all my photos look like Brendan Waits first.
Hey, and this will happen. This will happen, and there will be
kiss my ass AI.
Yeah, this will happen for sure. There will be a Ken Duncan filter. There will be an Ansel Adams filter. There will be it's going to happen where they're looking at photos from certain famous photographers, and your photos will look like those.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Just download the photo from the internet. Like, if you're going to do that, don't even go out.
But it's like, you've got to question, like you said, hopefully it doesn't get to this point, but it sounds like it might. But hopefully people can turn that off, AI off or on, or maybe AI help with composition or something. Some way you can limit how much AI takes over. But I can tell you now, if you're going to go out and do that with your iPhone and then claim yourself as a photographer and start taking credit for stuff, bugger off. I don't want to know you. This show doesn't want to know you. Unsubscribe. go join some other stupid podcasting, because that's just shit. It really is. And it's frustrating and annoying that technology is getting used to, like, technology is there to make things easier. But if we're going to take the entire creative side out of photography to make it easier, like, that seems like a little bit of a counterintuitive thing to do. That photography is all about being creative, but hey, you know what? I'm going to get something else to be creative for me. So all you are, you're practically a tripod. That's all you are.
Yeah.
A tripod with a finger. And that's, I don't know. Like, it'd be good. It'll be great for people who just want to happy snap things. I get that. And hopefully that's as far as it goes. Like, if you just want to go on holidays and snap and get some nice photos. But if they start putting it in SLRs or DSLRs and all that kind of stuff, then I think we're on a slippery slope to Shitsville.
I think it's inevitable, and the reason I think that is because big business will demand it. Because as soon as one company does it,
oh yeah, guarantee it,
everyone else is going to want to do it, and it is right up the alley of Apple and DJI and these companies that are constantly looking for the edge, and even if that means overstepping certain boundaries and barriers, well, they'll do it because there is going to be a market for it, and that's doesn't please me to say that, but there's going to be a market for people that just want to go to these places, and they're traveling and they just want to. It's a happy snap on steroids. It's the perfect happy snap. Like, the photo is, but the problem that I have with it is when the image gets manipulated, and a drop in sky is put in live, and you can say, all right, see the shot? Now give me a storm. Now give me a sunset. Now give me and live.
So it's going to beg the question then, is this going to have a flow-on effect to tourism numbers? Because if I can just sit at home and I can just make a photo on ChatGPT or the 12
Which you already can, of course.
Which I already can. Why would I go there if I can do it on my phone? If my phone's going to do the same thing there, what's the point?
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because this is what travel's all about. It's all about, experiencing these places with the naked eye.
Yeah.
And being there. I mean, nothing beats being at a location.
Yeah.
But, as far as photograph, and I don't know, it sort of blurs the lines between a happy snapper and a photographer, but you're not actually a photographer. I'm actually still trying to wrap my head around it, but the mind boggles as to where it can go as well. I mean, particularly with the megapixels being, zooming and cropping is becoming more and more commonplace. Zooming and cropping, and then using programs like Gigapixel to effectively give you a 400mm telephoto lens in your phone. Like, all that is coming. There's no question about that. So it's watch this space on that one. But interesting. We'll no doubt circle back and talk about that on the pod in weeks to come, years to come.
Just
years. Look at me. I'm assuming we're going to last for years, Cam. How about that?
Well, what AI is going to do our show soon. Is this the moment that we tell everyone this show was done on AI?
I got something to tell you. I haven't been talking to Brendan this whole time. This is
you know what?
I'm actually inside on the couch.
You're just typing in what you're going to say.
I'm a prompt.
Yeah, prompt. I think if that, like, for the record, I think that's just shit. I think that's a shit way to go with photography. Something that we love a lot.
I had a fair idea that'd be your attitude towards it.
Yeah, I think that's just a shit way of doing it. And we all use a bit of AI these days for editing, like subject detection and removal. Like, there's things we all do. But if you are a photographer who feels the need, like, okay, it's going to be one of those, this is cool to start with. Hey, this is cool. Look what this can do. Like, we're all going to have that excitement. But if you base your photography journey on using that technology, if it comes into that extent, then,
good luck to you.
Good luck to you. Yeah, that's right. Hopefully, the platform falls down and you miss out on the shot or something.
Yeah, exactly. I would also just like to thank I put this up before, but I'm putting it up again, our beer donators for this episode. I was going to say this week, but it's kind of like this month. So a big shout out to our beer donators, Mel H, Jenny C, Shaz Bang, and Peter L, who all bought us a beer. You can head over to dsps.com.au. Lots of things to check out there, not least of which you can buy us a beer. You can also check out the workshops that Cam and I are running. 3 workshops this year have already sold out. There's only 4 in total a year. So 3 down, 1 left to go for 2026. But my learned friend over here has gone ahead and put up our 2027 workshops as well. So they're already selling. We've got a couple of places gone on those already. So check out the calendar. Go and have a look at dsps.com.au. Come with us to Kangaroo Island. Come with us to the Tarkine and Cradle Mountain. Come with us to the Great Ocean Road. Or come with us to Freycinet and the east coast of Tasmania. Why not?
Why not? Let's do it. And if you want to come on a workshop that won't use AI or discuss AI or encourage AI or do any of that wanky shit that people are going to be doing in the next 5 years, then come with us, because we're old, stubborn bastards, and we're not gonna let you do it.
Not to mention the photo challenges, Cam. Our daily photo challenges that I just like doing.
Daily photo. Well, yeah. Now we could start saying, okay, I want a kangaroo jumping from one apostle to the other. Go.
That's right.
And people will be able to do it.
That's right. And from the comfort of their living room.
Yeah. We won't run workshop. It'll be all virtual. We'll have goggles on, sitting out.
Exactly. We won't need to. Yes. What do you got coming up, Mr. Blake?
I'm off to Bruny Island as this comes out tomorrow. I've got a one-on-one there for
now I am jealous.
No AI down there. So we're doing a workshop with a gentleman named Joe. I don't know him, but I get to meet him tomorrow. And then I've got another little one-on-one later in the week, and then I actually am on Bruny Island in the next couple of weeks for a workshop. And then you and I are catching up for an East Coast workshop.
Yeah, that's rolling around pretty quick. That's towards the back end of March, isn't it? So
second half of March. Yeah.
Yep, looking forward to that. There's a couple of reasons I'm looking forward to that. One, I haven't been to that region of Tassie since my honeymoon in 2001.
Is that why they call it Honeymoon Bay?
Yes, that's right. We went there. Because we stayed in Freycinet at the lodges, and Honeymoon Bay was just down the end of our road. Great spot. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing the what is it? The pig in the paddock.
It is a pig in the paddock. Yeah. Although
you give him a beer.
I think there's been a couple of pigs. So I think one of them died.
I would have hoped so, because it was 25 years ago this year that I was there. I don't think pigs live that long, but anyway.
They were a few pigs. I think there was a little bit too much alcohol getting given to the pigs, because you can buy the pig a beer. You can feed it watered down alcohol. So
I love it. That's right. But what I'm looking forward to, though, can I just add, is I remember the lush forests through that area, and the little hidden waterfalls and cascades and stuff that you get in that area. That's really exciting me. And of course, the Bay of Fires. So
not the Bay of Pigs.
No, Bay of Fires is going to be grouse.
That whole East Coast is, like I said, amazing coastline, pretty cool forest as well. There's some really interesting and old forest in there. And we'll have a good group of people. We'll have a few laughs. The weather's generally good that time of the year and up that side of the Tassie coastline. So, looking forward to that. That's March 27 to 31, sold out, bad luck.
Yeah, maybe next year, 2027, jump on dsps.com.au and have a look. All right. Well, I guess that's another podcast laid down, Mr. Blake. Thank you for your time.
That's okay. See you next year.
And loved your experience in Japan, and thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
Sharing the experience with us all and the photos. Yeah. If you've been listening to the pod, jump over to YouTube, search us, Down South Photo Show, and have a look at some of Cam's photos. They were great.
Yeah, no, it was a great trip. I'd like to say if people are interested to come in 2027, jump on my website and have a look, but that's already sold out. But if you want to come in 2028, tickets are available for 2028. We go winter in 2028. But yeah, good to see you, mate. Thank you for sharing your stories as well. I hope everyone out there is having a good year so far. We'll be back in probably a couple of weeks, maybe. See how we go.
Could be back next week for all we know. Who knows? Something big might happen, and we might have to just do an emergency podcast. We ever done one of those?
Emergency podcast? No, I should though. Let's just make some shit up and do it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get AI to do it. ChatGPT.
Yeah. We'll run a fake AI competition for a trip to Japan or something.
Yes, that's it. That's the podcast. This has been episode 185 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you sometime in the future for 186, and say goodbye, Cameron.
No, I'm not saying goodbye yet, because you made the mistake there. It's 186. See you next week for 187.
Yeah, see. This is what happens when we get out of sync. I did say 186 off the top, though, didn't no one listen?
No one listens this far. We could tell people to get stuffed and no one listens. So, goodbye, Cameron. See you next time.
This has been episode 186 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you next time for episode 187. Say goodbye, Cameron.
Goodbye, Cameron. Bye. Good night. See you later. Ciao.